Morning and welcome again. It's day 3 of the Lofoten adventure, and it's snowed overnight about an inch, which is welcome because it's made everything look a little bit more sort of Arctic and Norwegian. As you can see behind me, the sky's lighting up quite nicely. It's only about 8:30 in the morning, so it's way before official sunrise, and I'm just talking to you outside the little cottage that we're staying in, and just down here on the beach is one of our guests taking some pictures. He's spotted that light and he's out with his camera, and I might well do the same thing. We'll catch up later. We haven't quite decided what we're going to do here today, but we will quite soon, so join me when we get to a location. Well, I couldn't let that one go by, completely unscripted. Just after I finished that piece to camera, I took another look at this lighting behind me, and I thought, well, that looks like a long exposure panoramic if ever I saw one. So that's what I've been taking. I've taken a series of 5 shots, all at 30 seconds, because the light levels are really very low. And if I just spin you around, you can see on the back of the camera, it's quite spectacular. Okay, going for another drive. I'm not going to make it one of those long sort of sped up sections making people feel sick because they feel they're in a rally car doing the 1,000 Lakes race rally. So I'll just take a few of these snapshots of video and put them together later. I don't know if you can see that, but on the left at the top of the mountain there is an ice cloud rainbow effect happening. It might not show up on the video, but it's quite startling. I hope I can get to a place where I can actually get that framed up and a shot taken, because that's really quite something else. I've never seen that before when I've been here. So I'll probably press on for half a mile. There's a place on the right up here that I can probably stop the park and take that shot. Let's see. I'm heading over the bridges that will come into view, the twin bridges, which I always liken to big dinosaurs. Beautiful concrete bridges spanning inlets into this fjord here. I'm going to Fredvang, I think it's called. It's only a tiny place, but there's some quite spectacular images and scenery to be had from here. And I've just got to give way to this car coming the other way, because that's what we do around here. Up we go. To hand it to these Norwegians, they've managed to tame this environment quite well. It was only boats not that long ago to get around here. Here we are in downtown Fredvang. I probably pronounced that wrongly as well, but it's the best I know to say. I don't know how else to say these things. I'm sure if there was a Norwegian chap in the car with me, correct me, but there isn't. So. And up here on the right are some interesting old wooden buildings that look as if they're about to fall down. This one on the right in particular, the last couple of years, it looks like someone's doing some work to it now. But it really was looking in a poor state of repair. I'm not sure if they're repairing it or just shoring it up. But, oh well. The little dusting of snow we had overnight has made a big difference. The roads are now, and the ground is a better colour for this time of year, and it's really nice the way the mountains have got that slight dusting, which is showing a lot of the detail that would be lost if it was just purely grey and black colours of the rocks. The relief, the shape, the texture of the mountains are much more obvious with this little dusting of snow, so I'm quite pleased that's happened. It's adding a lot more interest to the mountains. We're just going to arrive here at the little beach. It's on my right. It's just out of sight, but we've got about half a mile to drive. There's a little car park we can stop at, and then we can go down on the beach. Unfortunately though, it's high tide, so the beach will not be very obvious, but what I'm hoping for is that we might get some nice reflections across towards Ramberg on the other side of the fjord. We'll see what we find when we get there. Oh, look at that light in the distance, and that's that ice cloud showing as well. I'll have to get a shot of that. Hello again. Fredvang, if I've pronounced it correctly. Have a look at this. Look at that sun rising in the distance, and it's got a nice crystal cloud over it, which I'm hoping to get a shot of. This is rather special. Anyway, I've got the camera set up down the hill. I'll go and get it now. Hey, I'm here on the little promontory just about 50 metres above the water, maybe 30 metres. I want to get the ice crystal cloud that's over the other side on top of the mountains, with the sun below the mountains lighting it up. It's every shade of colours under the rainbow. It is spectacular, but what I'm going to do is a series of long exposures so that I can smooth out the water in the bay here, because there's waves coming in, it's high tide, and I want to get the reflection of the cloud in the waves by slowing it down. So I'm going to take a series, probably 7 or 8 different shots at different exposure compensations from +3 to probably -3, so that I can bring out the detail in the shadows. I'll get on with that now. That's the first one, 3.2 seconds at -1. Let's do one at -2, which is 1.3 seconds. And now I'll progressively increase the exposure to get more detail in the foreground, which is completely in shadow in these images at the moment. That's going to be 8-10 seconds. I'm at f10. There's nothing close, so everything's in focus from that distance. There's no issue really with that. That's a 15th of a second f10 plus 1.3 plus 2 plus 2.3 is 30 seconds. And now the foreground is starting to come into out of the shadows. And then I'll take another one at +3. Compensation +3. That should bring most of the foreground into detail, hopefully. There's quite a lot of dynamic range on this Sony, so I probably can recover the shadows quite well anyway. So let's see what happens. I'm quite excited. The sky is amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, that's a sum total of about 7 images I've taken now at different exposure levels. The last one's happening while I'm talking to you. It's a good 30 seconds, but I've increased, opened the aperture up so that I've got more information in the foreground. It's still a 30-second exposure though, so the wave should smooth out quite nicely. And I might even take one with a 15 stop on to actually smooth the sea out even more. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to wind it up here. I've got the image I want. I've got about 20 images now that I've got to pull together into a single image. I'm quite hopeful that's going to work really quite well. I'm going to go on now and move down to Rien, R-E-I-N-E, I think it is. It's the place that everyone has photographs of, with 2 bridges and their little white houses on the side with a big mountain, pointy mountain in the background. I think there might be some nice shots to be had there, so I'm going to move on out and I'll speak to you in a few minutes. Okay, I'm on the next location. I drove up randomly just a fjord, followed the road and ended up in this place. And I've seen 2 or 3 opportunities here already. The sky's looking really quite nice. But what really interested me was the view down the fjord out to sea. There's a little island there, and right in front of where I'm standing there's an old rusty, looks like a couple of anchors, an old style anchor and a new style drag anchor, and I thought they would frame this picture rather well. So I'm setting up for the shot. I've got a 30-second exposure because I want to even out the sea a little bit. It's a bit wrinkly and wobbly, but let's see how it goes. Okay, I've got the camera set quite low, so the anchor actually appears in the frame as a major feature in the frame. So I'll take the shot now. Hello again. Light's not perfect in this one because I've got quite a bright bit of sky just off my left shoulder here, but I've driven further along the same little bit of fjord and the sky was developing at the end like this, storm clouds clearing away, and it's leaving quite a nice colour over the little island in the distance. There's some snow or rain still coming down by the look of it over there, so I thought I'd better set up and get this one as well. So here we go, thumbs up. I've got the camera set up here. It's a very simple shot. It's 60th of a second at f13. I'm focused on the grass in the middle ground, which is about 50-80 yards away, 50-80 feet away, sorry. And I'm about 40 millimeters focal length there, and I've actually wound in some negative, some positive compensation here because the light levels are so sublime here. It's not, the extremes aren't here. It's not like in England where you get very bright sky and then very dark shadows. All of this is coming out pretty well. I've got the dynamic range to cover it, so I'm going to take that shot. And that sky looks gorgeous, absolutely looks gorgeous. I'll just pick you up and move you around and let you see what's on the camera. Right. That's the image the camera's captured for me, and I'm very pleased with that. That lighting is stunning. Anyway, I will get back in a short while and we'll see how it gets processed. So I'll be leaving here now. Bye. Ah, that's better. Get the sun in my face. Yes, I just thought I'd mention this because I'm walking around here and I've been driving around quite a bit as well. But if you look behind me on the hillside here, some of these boulders are the sizes of houses. I've been past them actually on the other side, nearer to the fjord itself. And you think, well, it's obvious they come from the top of the mountain somewhere. But I'd hate to be around when one of those falls down. You wouldn't stand much chance of surviving it, that's for sure. I think the chances of it happening while I'm standing here talking to you guys is really quite slim, and if it does happen, this will probably be the first time a YouTuber's been killed by a huge chunk of rock mountain, but you never know. I think I'd rather stake my chances on winning the lottery than being hit by a rock from here. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because it's spectacular, it really is. Hello again. I'm at the next location. It's right at the end of the fjord, on from where I took the last shot. I'm about 100 metres above the fjord here. The road goes up and goes round, leads to a small village right at the very end, which I've just been and taken some shots at. But the sky is absolutely amazing. I think this is a place for a panorama. Oh, fingers are getting a bit cold now. Difficult to press the button on the camera. It's not actually that cold, it's about 2 or 3 degrees, but the onshore breeze is very cold because it's got a lot of moisture in it. Anyway, hopefully you can hear this alright. I've got the camera set up and it looks absolutely amazing. It really does. I've got a 30-second exposure with a 10-stop filter on, and I'm going to take a series of images every sort of 20 degrees all the way around the fjord here. I won't bore you with taking every single one because they're on a 30-second exposure, so all I'll do is I'll say have a look at the image after this. I think it's alright. I hope it's alright. Anyway, let's see. Hello, okay, in an attempt to let you see what the panorama should look like, I'll spin the camera around very slowly and you'll be able to see what it is I'm hoping to capture.